I'm wide open now. Okay. Shoot it. Let's do it.
DLG showcased some of their equipment such as this flexible light panel from Godox and Ari's SkyPanel X in a stacked configuration. They also showcased the Alexa 35 and Mini LF. And owner-operators brought their Sony Venice 2 and Sony Burano. We had 2 rooms to stage lighting in. This was the primary spot where we had our model Lily be our subject.
What lens is that?
It's a Zeiss 21mm. I can't remember the exact one.
Yeah, the Distagon. Yeah.
This is the second room that DLG set up, which had 2 Alexas in here originally, as well as some more lights. Here, Dom, Spencer, and I were moving the Dano Dolly to the other room so we could use it in conjunction with the backdrop. When we first arrived, the first thing we checked out was the XT26 from Aputure. It was hooked up to a 7,000 watt Honda generator using a Bates connector. It was initially set up with a hyper-reflector. It was then changed out to the F14 motorized for now. As you can see, it was a little bit of a struggle to get it on. Solomon tried tilting it up, but it wasn't working. These fixtures are quite heavy. So they tried it with the head on the ground and then coming in from the top with the Fresnel. I think Solomon originally wanted to lay the Fresnel down on his lens, but Miguel was worried about scratching the front screen since these were brand new. Then they tried it with the light on the combo. Finally, they laid the Fresnel down and the light connected pretty easily. I found it pretty funny just seeing them struggle for a pretty good while, but eventually they were able to figure it out. All that was left was to point the light in the right direction and fly it on up. And this is how bright that XT26 was shooting into the wall of this room. You can tell since we were able to keep the windows from just clipping. Here's John in the middle, owner of DLG, probably talking about something cool. Ian here was finishing setting up his Sony Venice 2 that he brought. Eric and Dom were looking at the shadow quality of the spotlight that was on the CS15.
Well, that's like lenses. I think that's gonna be perfect. I know it's 0.5.
Ian had the Venice set up and let me take a look at it. I hadn't had a chance to shoot on it yet, but I was really impressed with the image. These are probably the most expensive vlogging shots as they were shot in the Alexa 35 by Spencer on a Zeiss zoom lens in open gate. While I was testing out the Venice, Solomon pulled focus for me manually as I looked at different spots in the room. The camera exposure on the Alexa was set according to a LUT we were using. I probably should have checked my false color though, again at least, but I ended up underexposing this footage. But I'm not too concerned since this wasn't a client related shoot anyways, it was just for fun. But what's cool is that I got to see just how robust the footage is in post, even in ProRes, which you'll see in a bit. I like the way this hard light was hitting Lily, so I grabbed a shot of her real quick. Afterwards, we tried a dolly in. The sky panel X's were then set to blue, shooting through the silent grid. I asked Dom to wave a solid in front of the tungsten light since I thought it would add a cool effect. Solomon pulled focus on the WCU4, which for those who don't know is Ari's fist system, and then we shot the shot. I've shot in the Mini LF, so I was curious to see how the 35 performed. There really was no question though as to the quality of the footage, as you can see. Like I said earlier, I underexposed the footage, but was surprised at how easy it was to bring the footage back to a decent level. The LUT that I used was the provided conversion LUT that's in Resolve, and then I tweaked all the primaries to get the values in at least a decent place. There was some noise, but it's pretty minimal and it doesn't look jarring to the footage, and you really just see it in the background. And then we tried a different action for the shot. Eric held onto the cable and it made for a really cool look on this wide focal length, but then I realized it doesn't really make sense since the cord should be attached to the main part of the phone, but I think it would make for a cool music video shot if you didn't show the receiver and just had the cable on the edge of the lens. Anyways, I really appreciate when people in the industry put on events like this. There's a lot that we are all learning when it comes to filmmaking equipment, especially for those starting out. We may not necessarily have the budget to test out high-end gear, so we end up not trying to rent it. Having a partner like DLG that's willing to put on community events like this to showcase and demo gear helps the filmmaking community as a whole. At least that's what I think. We're able to try out stuff that we may not normally use, and then later on can make more informed decisions about renting that piece of equipment, which sounds like a win-win for both parties. I also just have a great relationship with DLG. They allow me to come in and test different stuff if I ask, and so I find that to be really helpful, especially if there's something that I might need in a future shoot. But anyways, that was it for this vlog. I hope you enjoyed.